Recently, China's largest electric vehicle battery manufacturer, CATL, contemporary Amperex Technology Co. Limited, has reached an agreement with Hungary to build a battery factory worth €7.34 billion, according to the stipulations. The Hungarian side is excited about this investment, as it is the largest scale investment ever obtained by the country and will become the largest battery factory in the region once completed. Why did China award such a large order to Hungary? It is clear to discerning individuals that this is simply a normal trade activity between China and partner countries. Moreover, Hungary is not as weak as some might imagine. Located in Central Europe and bordered by several countries like Serbia and Slovakia, Hungary was once part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It is currently a member of the European Union and NATO, and maintains friendly relations with China as one of the countries in the European region. Years ago, Hungary signed a Memorandum of Understanding on Belt and Road Cooperation, which has led to the establishment of well-developed infrastructure within the country and provides Chinese companies with favorable policies and a business-friendly environment. Over time, Hungary has attracted numerous Chinese companies to invest and establish factories, with CATL being one of them. Hungary is an important base for the automobile industry and supply chains in Europe, which is precisely what attracts Chinese companies. On one hand, the European Union has set the target of phasing out combustion engines by 2035, thus promoting the electrification of automobiles. As the heart of electric vehicles, batteries have naturally become a key focus for the EU, which has repeatedly emphasized the importance of the battery industry for the EU's green economic transition. On the other hand, competition in the electric vehicle supply chain within the major global markets is intensifying. Therefore, the EU is determined to cultivate its domestic battery industry. Chinese companies investing and establishing factories related to battery technology in Hungary highlight how Chinese enterprises have become good partners in the development of Europe's electrification of the automotive industry. In the field of the battery supply chain, whether it's battery manufacturing processes, material extraction techniques, or the procurement of lithium, cobalt, and other battery raw materials, China is indispensable. By attracting relevant Chinese companies to settle in Europe, especially in Hungary, where the foundation of the battery supply chain is relatively strong, it is possible to achieve localized support for the industry chain, reduce reliance on long-distance transportation of imported raw materials, and lower transportation costs. On August 17, the official publication of the EU Battery and Waste Battery Regulation, referred to as the EU New Battery Regulation, was made, and it will be enforced from February 18, 2024. The EU New Battery Regulation introduces a series of advanced concepts and management models, posing a challenge for Chinese battery companies. The EU member states will manage batteries in a consistent manner according to the regulations. The new EU battery regulation introduces new requirements for various stages of battery design, production, and recycling. It mandates that carbon footprint declarations and labels be provided for electric vehicle batteries, and the establishment of a battery digital passport. These raise the bar for the battery industry chain. Many Chinese companies have chosen to proactively embrace these challenges. As long as Chinese companies venturing overseas are well prepared and comply with the regulations, the EU's new battery regulation can become a gateway for these companies to reach new heights on the international stage and provide better support for Europe's electrification development. Venturing overseas requires the right timing, geographical advantages, and people. Each of these factors is essential, and Hungary's advantages are particularly outstanding. Currently, Hungary's electric vehicle market in Central and Eastern Europe is growing at a leading pace. In the first quarter of this year, electric vehicles accounted for almost 6% of new car sales in Hungary, surpassing Czechia's 2.4%, Poland's 3.3%, and Slovakia's 1.8%. Additionally, Hungary has a relatively comprehensive automotive industry system and serves as an important hub for the transfer of the German automotive industry chain. Data shows that in Hungary, which has a similar area to Zhejiang province in China and a population equivalent to Hangzhou city, there are over 740 automotive and parts manufacturing companies. 14 out of the world's top 20 largest automakers have either vehicle or parts production facilities in Hungary, including BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, and Stellantis Group, besides Germany and China. Hungary is currently the third country to have manufacturing factories for the big three German luxury car manufacturers, BBA. Other multinational car companies such as Jaguar Land Rover, Ford, and Nissan also have engineering service centers in Hungary, and NIO, a Chinese new energy vehicle manufacturer, has its first overseas factory located in Hungary. Regarding component supply, over half of the world's largest 100 automotive component companies have factories in Hungary. As an EU member state located in the center of Europe, Hungary is adjacent to Germany, Czechia, Austria, Poland, Romania, and others, enjoying well-developed road, rail, and maritime transportation. Despite being situated deep within the European continent, Hungary has become an important node for the implementation of the Belt and Road Initiative in Europe, with the opening of the China-Europe Land Sea Express route. Chinese companies invest and establish factories in Hungary. The transportation of materials from China to Hungary is relatively smooth. It is worth noting that the city of Debrecen in Hungary, where BMW and several Chinese battery companies have invested in factories, is the second largest city in Hungary and the economic and cultural center of the northeastern region. It has now become the most concentrated area for Hungary's automotive industry, particularly in electric vehicles. A favorable business environment is also an important factor for Chinese companies to invest in Hungary. In recent years, the economic and trade relations between China and Hungary have become increasingly close. Hungary became the first European country to join the Belt and Road Initiative in 2015. As early as 2011, Hungary initiated the Opening to the East policy, recognizing the shift of the global economic growth center toward Asian countries. Therefore, Hungary turned its attention to East Asian countries and attracted Asian enterprises with lower tax rates and a favorable investment environment. With the trend of globalization, from new energy vehicles to the power battery industry chain, it is becoming increasingly important for companies to tap into overseas markets like Hungary and establish a globalized industrial supply chain and innovation system. This helps improve product competitiveness and market share, highlighting the rapid growth of Chinese battery companies. It is worth mentioning that the initial country where CATL, contemporary Amperex Technology Co. Ltd. wanted to invest and establish a plant was actually the United States. According to sources, a few months ago, one of the regions that CATL openly favored included the state of Kentucky in the United States. Once the cooperation was confirmed, CATL would invest in producing batteries there, with major customers being Tesla and Ford. The chairman of CATL also had discussions regarding establishing a plant in North America, but unfortunately, due to frequent risky moves by the U.S. government during the late stages of negotiations, the plan for building a plant was repeatedly delayed, and now this battery project has finally fallen on Hungary's plate. Why did CATL pause its investment plan in the United States? According to foreign media reports, CATL has slowed down its plans to invest in battery factories in North America, mainly due to concerns about new regulations in the United States related to the procurement of battery materials, which could increase costs. Reuters had previously reported that this global leading battery manufacturer had been considering opening new factories in the United States and Mexico since earlier this year. The investment plans in northern Mexico, southern South Carolina, or Kentucky would be part of CATL's expansion outside of China. Hungary has become one of the hottest destinations for Chinese lithium battery companies to go overseas to Europe. For many years, CATL has been considering building a battery factory in North America to supply customers such as Tesla and Ford. With competitors like LG Energy Solution, LGES, Samsung SDI, and Panasonic having signed agreements to build battery factories in the United States with automakers, this plan seemed even more urgent currently. Executives from automakers such as Volkswagen, BMW, and Hyundai are urging U.S. legislators to give more time to automakers operating in the United States to achieve the required battery procurement targets and qualify for tax incentives. However, CATL's shift represents the first case of an automotive manufacturer or major supplier reconsidering investment due to the U.S. Inflation Reduction Bill. Affected by the U.S. Inflation Reduction Bill, CATL has slowed down its investment plans. The Inflation Reduction Bill aims to push companies to mine and process battery materials in North America and reduce reliance on China in the industry. While the U.S. government may provide subsidies for CATL's plant establishment, it is difficult to offset the costs of transporting materials from China to the United States. The Inflation Reduction Bill requires that by 2024, 50% of the key minerals used in electric vehicle batteries, for companies to be eligible for tax credits in the United States, must come from North America or U.S. allies. By the end of 2026, this number will increase to 80%. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin has been a key figure in drafting this bill, stating that the aim is to push companies to mine and process battery materials in North America and break dependence on China in the industry. Currently, China dominates the global electric vehicle battery supply chain, producing about 70% of the world's batteries and holding a dominant position in the extraction of key battery materials such as cobalt and manganese. While the U.S. may have its own considerations, these regulations pose challenges for car manufacturers and suppliers. The BMW Group has expressed concerns about the Inflation Reduction Bill, stating that there are no regions that are truly independent, especially in the context of electric vehicle raw materials. The U.S. policy towards China may create a dangerous trade barrier game that could hinder the adoption of electric vehicles. The United States should develop regulations that are realistic and warn that the new bill may discourage new investments. CATL may turn BMW's concerns into reality. It is reported that although CATL sees North America as a key market for business growth, the new regulations on battery material procurement in the United States have hindered the company's investment plans. Another anonymous source stated that even if the U.S. government provides subsidies for CATL to build plants locally, the new regulations will make the cost of CATL manufacturing batteries in the U.S. higher than the level of importing batteries from China. It is currently unclear how long CATL's investment in North America will be delayed, or if the company will make other adjustments to its investment strategy to narrow the cost gap. However, it is certain that the escalating geopolitical tensions between China and the United States will complicate CATL's efforts to achieve localized production in the U.S.